Hey loves! So I was getting my makeup done and I was about to do my brows, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna sit down and do a video all about them brows. I have had a long history and a long story with my brows, so I thought I'd chat a little about that, a little bit about what I'm doing, tips and tricks and that kind of stuff. I am very blessed in the brow department. I have a lot to work with, so what works for me might not necessarily work for all of you, but I thought I'd share in any case because I'm finally at a place where I'm really excited about where we are with these suckers. So yeah. I think a little bit of background on my brows. I've always had very thick brows, and I've always had them done. Like, I've had them done since I was 14, 15. They were just super, super thick and like unibrow status. So I've always had them cleaned up, and I've never had them like done too small. I feel like there was a point there like in junior high or like late junior high, 9th, 10th grade, when I wanted them really thin because that was like all the rage, and I'm so grateful that the girls at the place where I got them done didn't listen to me and left them nice and thick, because I would have been regretting that big time today. So yeah, I've always had them done, but no one ever quite got it. I would always leave wherever I was getting them done that day and feel like they weren't even. Like, my sister's like, stop staring at the mirror. I'm like, they're not even. Like, they would drive me crazy. So up until recently, no one really got it. And then I was down in San Diego, and I went to a place called the Brow Lounge. Yes. And they do all of their what do you call them? Like, they do all their tweezing, their plucking, their whatever, all based on the Anastasia of Beverly Hills method. And that's when I first got introduced to the whole thing. So they spend a good like half hour doing your brows, lining everything up, filling them in, like talking you through it. And I was like, finally someone gets it. And so that's really nice. And every time I went back to San Diego, that's where I got them done. But when I was here, I couldn't find a similar thing up until recently. So if any of you are in the Calgary area, I very, very strongly recommend going to see Noelle at the Brow Studio. I will link the website down below. But she is the only person I wholeheartedly trust with my brows. It's the first time I've ever been to a brow place where I can just walk in and be like, you got me, I don't need to tell you anything. So it's a trust thing, and not everyone gets that, and not everyone has that kind of relationship with their brows, but if you're like me, you understand what I'm talking about. So the cool thing about the Brow Studio, and a lot of these places that do this kind of like 30-minute brow whatever, maintenance, grooming, what have you, is that they'll do a free consultation. So I know when I first went in, it was a free consultation, and then if I got them done, it was whatever additional fee. But at least in my experience here, there was really no pressure. If I didn't want to get anything done, I didn't need to get anything done. So I really appreciated that. And I know that these kinds of treatments are a little bit, or groomings, not treatments, are a little bit pricier. They're between, like, depending on where you're at, sometimes between $25 to $35. So it is an investment. But I think my recommendation, if you don't have that money to spend every 4 to 6 weeks, I'd at least go in for initial consultation, maybe an initial grooming. That way you sort of know, because they'll show you where your arch should be, where your ends should be, what needs to be filled in. It's just a really nice, like, one-on-one session where you sort of figure things out. So the gist of it is that you want your brow to start, like, if you took a pen, I'm just trying to see on the mirror and then the viewfinder. So you want them to start there, and then if you go out about 45 degrees, that's where your arch should be, and then another 40, not even 45, but another, you know, comfortably to where it like hits the end of your eye. That's where the end should be, and that's sort of where you want to measure it. That's the like theory behind it, but again, everyone is a little bit different. And then there's a bunch of myths around brow grooming. So the idea that you're never supposed to sort of wax what's up here, which definitely, because it's supposed to sort of make your brows thinner. Definitely don't go overboard, and I wouldn't suggest you just take wax and go for it. But if you go to a professional studio where this is all they do, you can definitely clean up there without it shrinking your brows. Also, like growing up, the whole time when I was growing up, I used to get them threaded because there's this like belief that if you get them waxed, it's gonna cause that area of your eye to sag quicker. Now, to be fair, it's not like I'm in my 80s and I have a lifetime experience to judge it on, but I've had them waxed and I've had them threaded and I don't quite see a difference. And so I prefer getting them waxed just because it's quicker. Threading is a pain. Like, it's super, super painful. If you enjoy it and you found someone who knows what they're doing as with threading, then go for it. I trust Noelle wholeheartedly, and she uses waxing, and waxing is easier for me. That's where I go with. But what I'm trying to get at is that I haven't really seen that waxing causes more sagging or what have you. And then the third thing, I guess, to be talked about before I show you what I do with mine is that a powder tends to work better than a pencil. So there are brow pencils which are nice, but they tend to look more harsh, and if that's like the dramatic harsh look you want to go for, then go for it. But pencils don't give as natural of a look. Except, see, people always tell me this, and then with my Anastasia Brow Wiz, I get the same kind of effect that I do with a powder. So this guy is a little bit pricier and doesn't last as long as like a powder. So that's sort of where your trade-off will also be. I am so rambly. Questions, please, down below. Even if you're not going to touch your brows, there is one thing I definitely recommend, and that's brushing them through. So they're not brushed through right now. Maybe I'll bring you in a little closer. So they're not brushed right now, and I would definitely, the first thing I would recommend, or even if you don't want to do much to them, is just brush them out, because it really just gets everything going in the right way. It's like brushing your hair in the morning, I feel like. It's just really, really helps. Make sure just it looks sort of clean and groomed. So yeah, this is just a spoolie on the end of my Brow Wiz, but any kind of spoolie you have works. And then the other thing that I found, unless you want to go for a super dramatic brow, which I've had days when I want an all intense brow, I start with less product or a lighter color in this area and then go with a darker product here. Anastasia make a brow powder that's like a 2-colored powder, so you could use that. Or when I'm using my Brow Wiz, which is most days, I'll just go a little bit lighter in here and then really darken it up on the sides. So I use a Brow Wiz in Ebony, which I don't know. Some people have told me it's too dark for me, but I really like it. So I have a little bit sparser hairs in here, so I just, you know, fill them in a little bit, and then always remembering to make like brush strokes, not just like whoosh, one straight line, like you want to pretend like you're drawing on little tiny hairs. And then because I had chicken pox up here, I've got this little part where it dips a little bit, so I just fill that in a tiny bit. And I'm trying to do this without my glasses on and without being like this close to my magnifying mirror, so I might clean it up and then come back and see you, but I'm just trying to talk you through what I do. And then I find this one to be a little bit shorter, so I just sort of draw it out a little bit more. And then on this side, I start the same way. Again, this part is a little sparse, so I just draw in a couple. And then this brow is a little bit more annoying than this one. So your brows are supposed to be like sisters, not twins. And there are days when they don't even feel like sisters. I don't know if they're related, but this one always gives me more trouble. So I just fill in the top carefully because there's more of a dip on this side. And then the bottom of this guy is one we're growing out, and that's again where I recommend, because you guys can see how, depending on when you watch my videos, like when I am, like I just got my brows done 2 days ago, but sometimes you'll see me closer to the end of the month when it's about time I go back, and this area is a little bit crazy. So especially if you're trying to grow out an area in your brows, I would recommend seeing someone just because they can help you set those lines. Like I get panicky and there's like a couple and it looks dirty, so I want to pluck it all. When I'm with Noelle and we like have a program and we know what we're doing, I have a easier time leaving them alone, knowing that we're growing them. They might not look perfect, but we'll get closer. So that's also when it helps to go talk to someone. So I'll just fill in the top and then I fill in the bottom a little bit less when I've just had them done, but starting out here so they look a little bit more natural, or a little more seamless, I guess. and then just draw it out. And the last step, if you have unruly brows like mine just like want to fall over the place and not sit in the same direction, is just to use a brow gel. So this one is by Mercier, but a lot of people do them. MAC has one, Anastasia Beverly Hills has one, obviously. Just unless you're dealing with, like if your brows are very sparse, then maybe a colored one helps. It just gives a little bit more texture in there. But if your brows are dark, a clear one is nice because all you want is to hold them in place. So yeah, that's really all I do. And I mean, some days are better than others. Some days they just want to be unruly. Some days I'll just leave them. So yeah, but those are my thoughts. This was supposed to be a nice quick video, and I feel like, yeah, it's not going to be a quick video. Me and my brows, we run deep. So those are my thoughts, tips, what have you, methods. Share with me your best brow products, brow tips, brow horror stories. We can commiserate together. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to tell you on this front. Let's do 3 points of positivity. So the first is a really cool like 2-minute artsy tutorial look that Sam Chapman from Pixie Woo did that I just loved and was so inspired by. I'll link it down below. It's just such a cool video and something I sort of want to try out bits and pieces of soon, but I don't know if I quite have her skill set, so I got to practice a little bit. But it was just really inspiring and really creative and really everything I love about makeup. So I'll link it down below if you guys want a quick video to watch to pep your day up, because it's definitely really cool. The second was a nice phone call I had with my bestie last night. We legitimately can just talk for hours and hours and hours, and it's such a luxury and such a blessing. And so it was just really great to talk to her and chat and connect with someone who just gets me on every single level. It was just lovely. And the third is connecting with old friends. I got sort of random emails from friends that I hadn't heard from in a while, and it was nice to chat with them either through Skype or Messenger or whatever. And yeah, it was really fun. So those are my points of positivity. Let me know what's making you smile. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, whatever it is that you're up to. Just want to send you tons of love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so supportive. And as always, I just want to leave you by reminding you that life is just too short to wear boring lipstick. Bye, guys.